Get ready for a high-octane breakdown of the most explosive headlines hitting the track today. First, we are rewinding to the legendary life of James Hunt. The 1976 Formula One world champion was more than just a blistering talent on the tarmac. With his rebellious fashion and signature helmet design, he became an untouchable icon of 70s cool who famously clashed with the status quo.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the Pop Sockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Next up, we are looking at the massive political shift shaking the foundation of the grid. F1's CEO Stefano Domenicali is leading the charge as stakeholders scramble to define the next engine formula by the end of this year. They are desperate to move away from the current volatile manufacturer landscape to ensure the sport remains agile, sustainable, and entirely independent. Then, we're diving into the major news surrounding the Red Bull garage. Max Verstappen has finally spoken out about the shocking departure of his longtime race engineer, Gianpiero Lambiase. After 11 years of iconic radio exchanges and championship-winning success, the man known as GP is headed to McLaren, but Max has confirmed there is no bad blood and they may even reunite down the road. Finally, the paddock is buzzing over retirement rumors regarding Max Verstappen. Mercedes star George Russell weighed in, suggesting the four-time world champion has already achieved everything there is to conquer and should prioritize his own happiness. Could the Dutchman really be walking away from the sport for good? Stick around as we track these stories as they develop and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on to never miss an update. Imagine a Formula One paddock filled with stoic, clean-cut professionals, and then strolling through them in nothing but a white vest, tattered jeans, and oh yes, bare feet comes James Hunt. If you think today's F1 drivers have personality, you've clearly never met the 1976 world champion. He wasn't just a racer. He was the living, breathing definition of a rock star who happened to drive at 200 miles per hour. Hunt didn't just break the speed limit, he shattered the social norms of his era. While his rival Niki Lauda was a machine of precision and cold logic, Hunt was the chaotic, brilliant fire that made their rivalry the stuff of Hollywood legend. But what's truly fascinating isn't just how fast he drove, it's that he did it entirely on his own terms. When McLaren tried to tie him down with a dress code, he simply laughed, refusing to wear a tie and showing up to formal events looking like he just stepped off a beach. Yet somehow, he pulled it off with more charisma than the guys in three-piece suits. From wearing blue velvet to sporting a shirt covered in tiny palm trees, Hunt proved that being anti-establishment doesn't mean being anti-style. He was the ultimate, unbothered icon, cutting the toes out of his racing shoes because they were too tight, and adorning his Hesketh suit with badges that were, let's say, a little more suggestive than your average sponsor logo. Even his helmet, with those iconic red, blue, and yellow stripes against a stark black background, remains one of the most recognizable designs in history. He walked away from the sport at 31, trading the cockpit for the commentary box, where his unfiltered, big balls approach to life continued to win hearts. It's rare to find someone who lived with such reckless authenticity. Do you think modern F1 is too sanitized compared to the wild, no-rules spirit of guys like Hunt? Let me know in the comments below, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into racing history, and remember, sometimes the best way to make your mark is to simply refuse to play by the rules. Is Formula One finally learning that trying to follow the automotive industry's fluctuating mood swings is a recipe for disaster? We've all seen the headlines about the 2026 engine regulations, and let's be honest. The consensus among the paddock's top brass is that the current 50-50 split between internal combustion and electrical power is fundamentally compromised. It's a beta test formula currently running on a global stage, and for many fans, that's a tough pill to swallow. F1's CEO Stefano Domenicali has just dropped a crucial reality check. The blueprint for the 2031 engine formula needs to be locked in by the end of this year. The message? No more revolutions, no more frantic pivots, just stability. But beneath that diplomatic surface lies a deeper, more uncomfortable truth about F1's relationship with manufacturers. For years, the sport has bent over backward to match the automotive world's electrification goals, only to watch those very car makers change direction as market trends falter. Remember when everyone was sprinting toward full electrification? Now, the industry is pulling back, and F1 is starting to realize it can't afford to be the tail wagging behind a manufacturer's PR department. Domenicali is advocating for a shift that finally separates racing from the daily headaches of consumer mobility. He's hinting at a future that prioritizes sustainable fuel and, crucially, lighter cars, possibly even a return to natural aspiration. It's a bold vision for a sport that has spent decades hostage to the idea that it needs to be an R&D lab for road car technology. The real lesson here is one of survival. Whether it's the 2008 financial crisis or the recent departure of Renault, history has shown that when the market turns sour, manufacturers are the first to hit the exit. F1 is finally looking to insulate itself from that volatility. The goal for 2031 isn't just about horsepower, it's about making sure the sport remains bulletproof, whether the big manufacturers stay at the table or decide to pack up and leave. So, what do you think? Should F1 drop the electrification obsession and lean into the pure, visceral joy of loud, lightweight, naturally aspirated racing, or is it too late to turn back the clock? Drop a comment below with your take, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next deep dive into the politics of the paddock. After all, in Formula One, the race off the track is often the one that changes everything. Imagine your right-hand man, the voice you trust most when you are hurtling around a track at 200 miles per hour, tells you he is walking away. That is exactly what happened to Max Verstappen, but in a twist no one saw coming, the F1 superstar didn't fight to keep him, he told him to leave. We are talking about the legendary Gianpiero Lambiase, or GP, as he is known to millions of fans. Their radio exchanges are the stuff of legend, iconic, tense, and deeply respectful. When the news broke that GP was jumping ship to McLaren, the paddock held its breath, wondering if this was the beginning of the end for the Red Bull dynasty. But here is the kicker. Max himself gave him the green light. Speaking in Amsterdam, Verstappen revealed a raw, human side to their professional partnership. He didn't view it as a betrayal, he viewed it as a career milestone. Max told his engineer, "You would be stupid not to do that." It is a rare glimpse into the mutual respect that defines the pinnacle of motorsport. GP is heading to McLaren to take on a massive role as chief racing officer, a move that signals McLaren's aggressive play for total championship dominance. While Max admits their time winning everything at Red Bull has come to a natural close, he isn't closing the door on a future reunion, just maybe not in the high-pressure cooker of Formula One. It's a bold move for McLaren, but for Max, it is a bittersweet goodbye to the voice that anchored his most dominant years. Is this just business, or is it the first crack in the Red Bull armor? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more insider F1 breakdowns. Sometimes, the most important race is the one we run for our friends. Could we really be watching the final season of Max Verstappen in Formula One? It sounds impossible, but the four-time world champion has dropped a bombshell that has the entire paddock talking. After a frustrating P8 finish in Japan, Max hinted he might walk away at the end of this year, citing unhappiness with the direction of the 2026 regulations and a struggling Red Bull car. Enter George Russell, the current championship favorite, who isn't just watching from the sidelines, he's offering a dose of cold, hard perspective. Russell hit the nail on the head when he said, "There's not much more for him to achieve." And honestly, he's right. Max has ticked every box, shattered records, and secured 4 world titles. When you've conquered the summit of F1, the motivation to keep climbing becomes a very personal choice. Russell didn't hold back on the irony of it all, recalling how the roles were reversed back in 2022. When Mercedes was struggling with that brutal, bouncing, porpoising car, Max wasn't complaining because he was winning. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, the frustration is mounting for the Dutchman. But beneath the drama, there is a mutual respect. Russell admitted that while he'd miss racing against the best, he completely understands the pull of the Nordschleife or other racing series. If you've got 4 trophies in your cabinet, why not do what actually puts a smile on your face? As for the title race, don't expect George to get cocky just yet. He knows how quickly momentum shifts in this sport, famously pointing back to the 2022 season when Charles Leclerc had a massive lead before the tides turned for good. He's keeping his head down, ignoring the hype, and staying focused on the job at hand. But what do you think? Is Max just venting in the heat of a bad weekend, or is he genuinely ready to hang up his helmet while he's still on top? Let me know your take in the comments below, hit that subscribe button for more F1 insights, and remember, in the world of racing, the only thing more unpredictable than the cars are the drivers themselves.